Every time a new piece of technology lands, you hear the same thing, right? It's the
Yeah.
sound of people getting nervous.
That echo of human fear.
Exactly. And today we're diving deep into that historical pattern of resistance, tracing it all the way up to the blistering speed of today's AI, specifically with tools like Gemini 3 Pro and Notebook LM.
And that historical anxiety is so incredibly persistent.
It is.
If you look back, way back to the Industrial Revolution, the whole debate was about technological unemployment.
Right. The fear that a machine is about to make your skills worthless.
Precisely. The Luddites are the classic example. They weren't just, chaotic rioters smashing looms.
They get such a bad rap.
They do. They were organized artisans, and they were fighting back against the complete destruction of their craft. Their dignity, even.
It's the fear of losing competence. That's what it boils down to. It reminds me of the 1970s and the math wars.
Oh, with calculators in schools.
Yes. Around 1975, when they started showing up in classrooms, the fear was, well, it was palpable. Parents, educators, everyone worried that students would become completely dependent.
That they'd forget how to do basic math.
Yeah, or even just lose the estimation skills to know if the calculator's answer made any sense.
And we saw that exact same pattern again in the 80s with office automation.
With word processors and email?
Right. It was revolutionary, but it also triggered this intense alienation. Researchers even coined a term for it, technostress. It was this feeling among employees that they were being forced to use these digital systems they just didn't understand. A postman fearing his job was gone.
And yet the irony is that if you look at the outcome of that 80s automation, the new tech actually made work safer, more consistent.
And the people who adapted.
They saw higher job satisfaction, better pay. Their jobs shifted from just doing a task to managing a system.
Exactly. And that whole history, it frames the modern debate perfectly. Resistance now is rooted in what we call loss aversion. You only focus on the skills you might lose.
Instead of what you might gain.
And that risks this quiet erosion of your relevance in the market. The imperative isn't to compete against the algorithms anymore.
The only way is to learn to compete with them.
Yes. Using education, training, you have to shape your own advantage.
Okay, so that brings us right to today, because the speed of this change makes those old fears feel so much more immediate.
Oh, it's night and day. We're in an era where major AI model releases are separated by days, not years.
And the launch of Google's Gemini 3 Pro on, November 18th, it just completely redefined what was possible.
It wasn't just a redefinition. It was a quantum leap in what we call nuanced, non-routine reasoning.
So it's not just about finding facts anymore.
Not at all. Before this, AI was great at retrieval. Gemini 3 Pro is about complex synthesis and the benchmarks. Well, the benchmarks really show us why.
Okay, so break those down for us. What do these numbers actually mean for someone who isn't reading the research papers every day?
Let's start with just raw knowledge. It scored 91.9% on a test called GPQA Diamond.
And that is...
It's a test of PhD-level scientific knowledge. So what that number tells you is the model isn't just spitting back facts it read. It's successfully synthesizing cutting-edge research to form these highly complex, specialized conclusions.
Okay, so that's the high-level science. What about just general intelligence, the kind of thinking you need for complex project management?
That's where its lead in general reasoning comes in. It scored 37.5% on something called Humanity's Last Exam.
Which sounds intense.
It is. It's notoriously difficult, designed to really gauge general intelligence, and it even hit 41% using its internal deep think mode.
And a reasoning jump like that means what in practice?
It means the AI can handle ambiguity. It can deal with unexpected variables in a way we just haven't seen before.
And for people who are using these systems for, say, developing code or simulating market strategies, the agentic utility results were pretty mind-blowing.
They really show its stability. The Vending Bench 2 results, they simulate these long, extended workflows where the AI has to make consistent decisions over a long period.
And Gemini 3 Pro dominated.
It did. It had achieved a mean net worth of over $5,400, which was 272% higher than its competitors.
Wow.
But the key takeaway from that number is its ability to avoid drift.
What do you mean by drift?
In simpler models, if you have a long conversation, the AI can kind of forget what the original goal was. Gemini 3 Pro, it just stays on mission. It maintains that consistency over a really long horizon.
And we should probably mention its multimodality. It's not just text.
Oh no, it natively processes and synthesizes everything. Text, audio, images, video,
And code
and
repositories.
code repositories, all within this massive 1 million token context window.
A million tokens is a number that's hard to even conceptualize.
It is. Think of it like this. It's the equivalent of holding about 3,000 pages of dense documents in its working memory at one time. An entire project library.
So, of course, with this kind of leap, you get the head-to-head comparisons. We saw one recently with its rival, GPT 5.1.
Yeah, and those results are so instructive. It's not just about who won, but how they won.
So what was the breakdown?
Gemini 3 won the majority 7 out of 11 rounds. And its wins were almost all in areas that demanded creative synthesis and an understanding of human context.
So less about pure data and more about nuance.
Exactly. It was better at cross-domain integration. Things like combining a Python script with a creative marketing tagline and a business analysis, all in one cohesive answer.
It proved to be the better strategic planner. If you asked it to, say, map out a surprise party with a budget, a specific playlist, a shopping list.
It delivered the whole plan. You didn't need to keep prompting it for more details.
But the competition did win some rounds. It wasn't a total blowout.
No, and that's important. The rival model was actually superior in more traditional linear tasks,
Like what?
pure coding logic and mathematical reasoning. Which just goes to show that while this advanced reasoning is surging ahead, that foundational computational stuff is still a very competitive space.
So the takeaway is Gemini 3 is the clear winner right now for complex creative thinking, for critical analysis where you really need to understand the human context of a project. Yes.
Which brings us to the real question. It's not what can it do anymore. It's how do we learn to use this?
That is the acceleration imperative right there. We have to move past just asking for, a simple summary.
Right.
We need to structure our inputs, our prompts, to get genuinely layered knowledge. And this is where tools like NotebookLM, which run on these Gemini capabilities, become essential training grounds.
So NotebookLM lets you upload your own sources, your documents, your textbooks, and it turns them into a sort of dynamic knowledge base.
But the key, like you said, is moving beyond. Summarize this for me.
So how do we do that?
The goal is to force the model to do the critical thinking for you. Researchers are sharing these incredibly sophisticated prompts that are designed to get layered, non-straightforward answers.
Okay, but doesn't requiring prompts that are that sophisticated just, I don't know, increase the burden on the user? Are we just trading the labor of reading for the labor of prompt engineering? That's a really valid question. But the cognitive labor is fundamentally different. Prompt engineering is about directing how you think about the material, not just pulling facts from it.
Give me an example.
Okay, take something called the dialectical lens prompt. You tell the model to construct a debate between two imaginary scholars who interpret one single concept from your text in completely opposing ways.
So you immediately have to engage with the nuance. You're seeing the evidence for both sides of an argument, not just the main one.
Precisely. Or another one, the cultural mirror. This is great for building conceptual agility. You tell the model to rewrite an argument from 3 different philosophical viewpoints,
For instance.
like Stoic, Sufi, and postmodernist. And you give it a strict word limit, say 120 words each, and demand a cultural reference in each one.
So you're testing its understanding under pressure. And by extension, your own.
Yes, and my favorite for really challenging your own assumptions is the antithesis method. Instead of just asking it to support the text's main idea, you ask it what the author would need to prove if they were arguing the exact opposite.
I like that. It forces you to look for the vulnerabilities, the hidden logical structures that might support the other side.
It deepens your understanding of the original argument's foundation. It's incredibly powerful.
And you can move this from the theoretical into the practical for, say, a policy analyst.
Absolutely. The what-if scenario prompt is perfect for that. You take a central idea from your source and apply it to a modern problem.
Like AI diagnostics replacing doctors in rural areas.
Perfect example. Then you instruct the model to outline the intended outcomes, the unintended consequences, and possible mitigations, and crucially, to back it all up with evidence from the text you provided.
This level of customization also means you can really adapt it to your own learning style. You mentioned the multi-format generation in NotebookLM.
That's right. It's not just about getting a text report anymore. If you're commuting, you can ask it to generate an audio overview of the key points.
Or if you're stuck on some jargon.
You can have it generate custom flashcards. For example, ask it to clarify the difference between embeddings, vectors, and vector databases, each in one single precise sentence. That forces clarity.
It moves you past just knowing facts to actually building, what, conceptual fluency?
Exactly, and troubleshooting intuition.
So let's bring this all together. The ultimate so what? We've walked through this historical resistance, we've seen the new frontier with Gemini 3 Pro, and we have concrete tools for adapting with advanced prompting. The acceleration is here. It's not coming, it's here.
And that acceleration has these profound structural consequences that we have to talk about.
Go on.
As more tasks get automated, the long-term economic trend is that a growing share of total income goes to the owners of capital.
Meaning the algorithms, the AI systems, the machines.
Right. And while automating tasks might not actually reduce wage inequality among the workers who are still employed,
Yeah.
that falling labor share, well, it implies a dramatic rise in total income inequality across the entire economy.
So just adapting our own individual skills, it's
No.
not enough.
It's not enough. If the benefits of all this incredible progress aren't distributed broadly, then the challenge isn't just about retraining. It becomes about engaging with the deep, structural, and ethical questions of this new era.
Adaptation is for survival then.
It is. But using these tools to maintain our ethical influence, our professional judgment, that's the key to making sure humans stay in the driver's seat. We have to use this new power to focus on the things where we still have the advantage: creativity, judgment, deep contextual thinking.
Which brings us to the final question for you, the person listening. Given that these tools, Gemini 3, Notebook LM, give you this dramatic new power to synthesize and reason, how will you use it? Not just to boost your own productivity, but to actively engage with and maybe even reshape the huge structural and ethical challenges that are going to define this era of acceleration.